The U.S. and China appear headed towards confrontation. To push back against China's military buildup in the Pacific, President Biden brokered a new defense partnership with Australia and will sell its stealth nuclear-powered submarines. That decision came at the expense of U.S. ally France. We spoke with Australia's Prime Minister on Thursday. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
What is the biggest threat you see from China?
Well, we're resilient to foreign interference. We're resilient to whether there are attacks that come from cyber or other forms of foreign interference. Any sovereign country would be.
So why do you need US-made nuclear submarines?
Because Australia's defences depend on having a long reach. I mean, Australia is a long way from everywhere, and in order to ensure that our security interests are best protected, we need to have a long reach and a long range.
But you needed them faster than what the French were delivering you. That's what led to this big diplomatic blow up with the French. You switched to nuclear-powered submarines that can police longer distances. We're talking about in China's backyard. You need some military support here, no?
Conventional submarines can no longer meet that need with the changed strategic environment in the Indo-Pacific.
You're buying these nuclear submarines. Are you looking at an arms race with China because that is what the Chinese have warned, that is what this is a signal of?
No. What we're doing is we'll be moving from our existing conventional fleet of submarines, our Collins-class submarines, and over time to be able to replace that with a fleet of nuclear submarines.
Because China has built up its military.
With higher capability. There's been an increased militarisation of the Indo-Pacific for many, many years. And we've seen that escalating for some time. And so the escalation predates our decision.
But are you concerned that this could be read by China as a reason to feel more threatened? Do you think this puts a target on your back?
Well, I don't believe it should be. And that's really our point. Australia has every right to take decisions in our sovereign interests, to provide for our defences, to work with our partners, to create a more stable region.
Do you expect retaliation for this?
I see no reason why there should be.
You haven't spoken to the Chinese president in well over a year. Things are not very friendly at the moment.
The phone's always open at our end. The door's already always open at our end. There is no Australian obstacle to direct dialogue at a political level between Australia and China. But that opportunity, the China side have not shown an interest in, but they're always welcome when they'd wish to.
Would he take your call?
Whose?
Have you tried to call the Chinese president?
Those opportunities have been available for years. But that's not something they're interested in at the moment. That's their choice.
He doesn't want to take a call right now?
No.
How real is the threat of a hot war, of military conflict in your region of the world?
I certainly don't see it as inevitable, and I think it's all completely avoidable. Those issues, though, are going to be resolved principally between the United States and China.
So the French government made clear they were not happy they lost this contract for submarines. Sure. And the US and Australia, the UK as well, have inked one. A defense contractor in France says it's sending you a bill for $66 billion. Yeah, well, do you intend to pay that?
I think that's a rather extraordinary claim. It's simple.
Do you think there's any wrongdoing?
No. We had a contract for procuring submarines that had gates in the contract, which gave us the option. Had we proceeded, then as Prime Minister I would have been negligent because I would have been going forward with a massive and very costly contract that would not have done the job that Australia needed to be done.
Do you regret not being more transparent or direct when you... Australians are known for being direct.
We are.
Why weren't you direct with the French president?
Well, you should be
saying
assuming I was.
You're going to lose this.
And I have been. We were very clear that we had deep concerns that conventional submarines would no longer do the job. We had discussions about that. And at the end of the day, we didn't see the situation the same. French obviously thought that their submarine could still do the job. We didn't believe that was the case. And as a result, we decided not to proceed.
Australia is one of the few Western democracies that has really put in place some very, very strict COVID protocols. You shut down your borders 18 months ago.
Sorry?
When will they reopen? Are you going to have vaccine passports? When will Australians be able to leave?
We will see our international borders, particularly for Australians to leave and return, and Australians who are overseas have been vaccinated to return, and that will occur before the end of the year. It could happen well before that. With the vaccines, that is improving our resilience, and we'll be able to open up those borders. But I'll tell you what shutting those borders did. It saved over 30,000 lives in Australia. It's around about 1,200 Australians have lost their lives to COVID. That is what is lost in a day here in the United States.
Culturally, there's this huge difference. You talk about shutting your borders. You will go into quarantine when you return home to Australia.
Correct.
Do you think less liberty is medically necessary? We have a huge argument over that in this country. Why did you think it was worth it in Australia?
30,000 lives is the simple answer.
People in this country won't wear masks.
That's a matter for the United States.
But what do you attribute that difference culturally to?
Well, look, we're different societies. I think we are different societies. I mean, we're great friends, and we share beliefs and values that we hold dear. We're a very pragmatic nation, and I can tell you, the virus doesn't care what you believe. The virus cares about how it can come and take your life. And in Australia, we've introduced what we believe are practical controls that have saved tens of thousands of lives. And I think that the proof of those decisions is in the results.
The Delta variant is really challenging. Some of the record, though. I mean, Sydney, again, in lockdown.
True.
In Melbourne this week, you did have some protests against mandates. So is there just sort of an exhaustion level here politically that makes it difficult for you to try to control the virus?
The Delta variant is the game changer. We have had a lot of success with COVID in managing the virus pre-Delta, but when Delta hit, it changed everything. And so regrettably, we've had lockdowns in our two biggest cities, in Sydney and Melbourne now for many months. And we're looking forward to the end of that, and those restrictions are already starting to ease, and the vaccination program, which has been running successfully. Our rates of vaccination on a daily basis per capita have even exceeded those that were achieved in the United States and the United Kingdom at their peak. And so that is getting us to a place where we'll be able to open again.